Hey, today I want to take this opportunity and welcome Mark Sergeev, pastor from Ukraine, who currently serves as a chaplain to the Ukrainian Army because his church and his city was taken by the Russians on the very first day of occupation. Mark, welcome.
Well, thank you for the opportunity, Pastor Peter, that I'm here. I am a kind of kid that was born in church. I'm like we say always, we're kids of church kids. And I was from the youngest age. I was in Sunday school, and my parents were the senior pastors, building the big church. We have biggest evangelical church at the south of Ukraine. We build a big building. We have 400 kids every Sunday, 1,200 people every Sunday get together, sometimes more.
I saw your church, how beautiful it is. Maybe we can show some pictures of that.
And Russian troops came in the first day because I remember in the evening, we already have information that a couple of tanks come inside of the city, and we were shocked. But we decided not to run away because we have a lot of kids, young adults. We have a lot of small groups, and we decided with my pastor that we're gonna stay because the Russia trying to bomb the airport near to the city, and so many kids and families coming to church because we have a big basement recording studio inside, and the kids are living there a couple of weeks, but a little bit, we have a very hard situation because we have problems with the food, with the water. So many, we don't have maybe for 4 or 5 days electricity at all. No connection with the world. And 9 of March, I remember, that was 5 a.m. in the morning. It was cold morning. Sometimes snow is coming, and somebody knocked on the door. I built my own house in 2014, and I live in close to the church. I can see my church building from my backyard. And
so you're never stuck in traffic on your way?
Never, thank God. And I just walk by myself, not using car. Sometimes only my wife, maybe. So close. And they came. My wife said, "Can you go and see who is knocking on the door?" So I get outside. I was just in my underwear. See in my window a couple of lasers coming down my face, and I understand, welcome Russian world, and they're screaming so loud, open the doors. And I open the door, they take me outside, put me on the ground, put the gun in my face. Just said, relax. And I have 3 sons. I have the oldest one was 9 years old, Christopher, and he was sleeping in the other room. So the first thing that he saw when he opened the eyes, that's gun in his face. Get up, young boy, let's go, talk. And then they take every man from the buildings. The same was in my father's house, the same with my brother Anton. They take every man who were living in this area to the church, and we have this hard conversation.
And they knew that you guys are leaders of the church.
Yeah, they not just knew, they know. When they get inside, they say, Mark Viktorovich, and they know my last name, everything. They know, just relax, let's go. And they knew that we are, I think they're prepared, because the first question was, when I speak with these KGB mans, they said, look, you get inside in this building in 2006, and I was shocked. They say, you have this LED screen in 2016, and I'm sitting, I'm just quiet, and I understand, man, where do you get this information? And I understand they're preparing for a long time ago. They are using our YouTube channel, they saw everything, in that moment you have to understand, in Melitopol, thousands of people grabbing Ukrainian flags and trying to stab the tanks. Some people laying down in front of the tank and screaming, go back home, Russians. This is our country, we're free people. And I think these guys, these Russian troops, they thought that evangelical churches or pastors organized the whole thing, we're crazy patriots. And one of these men, he said to my father, you have to stop them. If you not stop them, the blood will flow. And my father said, how I can stop? It's just free people, free will people. We're just praying. And they said, we give you 72 hours to record a video in the front of the building of the church. Because we're a big church, we have mayor, sometimes coming to our church celebrations, and from people from the government. We have a couple of directors of college, different universities. They're part of the church. Some looks like you have in Connect Church, like here in Springfield. So very similar thing. And you have to record the video in the front, say Putin is our president already, and this is territory of Russia, just relax. And then they say, we give you a couple hours, give us every contact address of every businessman who supports church. And my father said, look, I cannot do this. I think I will not be a pastor anymore. And they closed the door in the office, take us away. And then they have another talk with him personally, like, we're gonna cut off a couple of fingers on your hand, and then you're gonna support us and work with us. You need this city. We need you, kind of like this. And so they leave the building, and at the end of the day, in the evening, they take our mayor in the jail with a bag on the head. We saw pictures in some Telegram channels and something like this. And we were sitting just praying in my father's house. And one of his kind of neighbor, my neighbor living in the front, on the other side of the street, he came from the government and he said, look, your father's going to be the next. You have to take him away. And we decided on the next morning, like 7 a.m., like I remember, we have 4 cars, and we go in directly to the front line to get to the Ukrainian side. There's 17 checkpoints, 70 miles, 8 hours, like I remember, very hard.
70 miles for 8 hours.
Yeah. Stop every kind of couple of kilometers. They're stopping another checkpoint. So many moments, and we're with the kids. My brother has more younger kids, but my youngest was 5 years old, and we were going. And then we came directly to the front line, and they are bombing every 30 seconds. You have to fall down on the ground. And we were praying, and in a moment I see, it's the moment when I now understand the power of prayer. When we pray, God is doing so many powerful things. And in one moment I see Chechen soldiers sitting on the tank and waving a hand like, you can go. And we go in, we call it Zaporizhia Hills. It's our army standing on the top, Russians troops standing in the valley. And I'm going on the first hill. I was in the first car driving. And like in the movies, you see how in seconds they start to destroy one small village. The name of the village, Kaminsky, like with artillery. You see the building, in 3 seconds, there's no building anymore. My wife is screaming, Jesus help us. Like, Jesus help us. Screaming and crying, and we're going down, like trying to get through this village. And then I see in maybe a couple of minutes, like, oh, there's a couple of Ukrainian soldiers with Ukrainian flags standing. I think I'm like strong man, but we start to cry. I will remember this moment for the whole of my life. It's the moment like when you're falling down in the arms of Father, well, finally, you're saved, 30 minutes later, I'm standing in a big supermarket, kind of like a Walmart or something, kind of Target, and life is going on. People are, PayPass is working, internet is working, people just shopping. And I'm standing in the center of this supermarket and said, Father, I think you have a plan for my life. I think you have a calling, because 30 minutes ago, I must have been dead somewhere in the field. But now I'm standing here. Yeah, this is kind of the whole story. And they take our building, cut off the cross, put the flag of Russia. Now it's a kind of ministry of culture and youth or something. They're using just for the government.
It's a nice building.
Yeah, and they do the same with every evangelical churches in occupied territories. A couple of weeks later, after my church building, they take a Baptist church, then Pentecostal, and different. Now there is only one church that works and be open. It's Moscow Orthodox Church. So yeah, this is now I'm a chaplain at the front line and directly at ground zero, because I understand there's like guys 25, 26 years old. I want to preach gospel to them, because tomorrow maybe they're will not be alive. And I said, if they don't have relationship with Jesus, they're going to go to hell. It's number one. There's so many chaplains working at the hospitals, but I directly wanted to be there and to support them and show that I'm a brave. I'm a brave because if I die today or tomorrow, I have a hope. I have relationship with Jesus. And I'm trying to show with my life so they can be brave, not because they're just fighters, just soldiers, no, because they have kind of hope and relationship with Jesus Christ.
What an incredible story. And when we hear about this, it's one thing to watch it in a movie, but another thing to be there. And so we're amazed by your bravery, by your commitment. But I think it's the moment when you gave your life to Christ, He gave you this mission. So right now to see you in this chaplain's outfit, your uniform, and it says chaplain, I think this mission that you've started through that local church hasn't stopped. So that's why we're so excited and moved by the Holy Spirit to stand alone with Ukraine. As you know, I was born in Ukraine, but I left Ukraine when I was 19 years old. And I thought my chapter of life that had Ukraine and all the past there was gone. But I believe when the war started, I realized that the roots are so deep, and I owe it to my people. I owe it to Ukraine. And being a pastor of Connect, I was amazed how people mobilized and helped and really gave and prayed, and we continue to pray with my family daily for Ukraine, for God to move there. But as you know, it's been over 2 years, and people get a little bit tired just hearing about it, and plus they hear things such as, how much more money can we give to Ukraine? Isn't there already enough? And they think about the budget of America and the budget of borders and all those things, as you know, politics. What can you tell us? Where are the money going? Like when the American government says we're going to give Ukraine, like in the last bill, $61 billion, is it really they rain money over cities? Like, did you get any of it? Like, where does it go?
First of all, I want to say a big thank you to your church, to pastors, to the whole team that's supporting us and praying for us. Because, man, I believe in prayer. When we united together like a body of Christ to pray, God is doing some great things. But if we talk about the money, look, we don't see this money. First of all, if you can find official statistic that 90% of the whole help about money stays in the United States. I know so many states, for example, first place, the whole money goes to Arizona because they're producing missiles and guns and machines, tanks. But
so it stays here, and American economy moves to produce the ammunition
they
that
give
Ukraine
workplaces in the United States, first of all. Another thing that nobody in in media do not talk about, that because I'm a chaplain, I'm not reading the newspapers. I'm directly speaking with the soldiers. For example, I have a friend. He's driving a Abrams tank, American tank, and he said, "Look, when it get to Ukraine, I cannot use it for a front line because it's broken, it's damaged." Poland has a new ones from United States. Poland sent us something broken that was in Afghanistan or some very old things. And I'm speaking, and he said, we need a time, like a couple of weeks, to change some tools and rebuild it. We are very happy and glad that you're giving us, because it's much more better than USSR things and some the Soviet Union. But we really understand that this is kind of so many disinformation in media. It not look like really like we see, and we don't see the money personally. Like they're not giving us the cash. But another thing I wanted to tell to American community, that there's one moment when you have, for example, $1 billion. It's just a cash. But if somebody will not sell you the Patriot system, for example, we need them, 7 things. We have only 1, but we need 7. It's kind of to put in the biggest cities, and we can just bring our economic back. People can work because we're sitting in the basement sometimes. We don't have electricity. If you have just the cash, it's just a paper. If nobody signs you and sell you this Patriot system, this is the problem. Sometimes our president talking, hey, we have money. Just somebody, can you give us, sell us something? And nobody says, and we understand this is kind of politic stuff. Somebody have to sign it. I don't know, maybe one president, the other president, but this is the problem.
Yeah, so you don't see the money, but it's being used to sponsor and to pay for the ammunition, and a lot of it stays in America, so it actually propels the American economy.
Yes.
But also, I know that a lot of those systems like Patriot system, by those of you who don't know, it's air defense system that's made in America. So even if it comes from another country, America has to sign off on it.
100%.
To release. Okay.
Government in the United States, they have a sign.
And slow.
Because right now, Europe has 500 Patriot system, 500.
Wow.
We're asking for 7, really. They have 500, and we're asking, look, we're fighting not just for our country, we're fighting for you too.
Yes.
Because the next will be the Baltic countries or Poland or Moldova.
Yeah, we know from the history of the Soviet Union and then now Russian history, in the last 20 or 30 years, they've started multiple wars. So we know they won't stop because it's just the nature of that country. And lastly, here is what I've been hearing around conservative circles in America. We know a very famous interview of Tucker Carlson with Putin. And people say, in Ukraine, there is persecution of Christians. I know the truth. I've been there, by the way, end of April. What can you say to those people who are questioning and hearing from those who supposedly been there and talk to Russian president? Like, what would you say to that?
I want to say that we have more religious freedom than in the United States, in Ukraine, really. And I'm very serious. More freedom. We can preach the gospel anywhere, where you want. I can call to any kind of mayor and say, can we put a stage in the center of any kind of city? Last year, I was recording one short story in my Instagram that can you come at Maidan area and we have a prayer meeting in the center of, it's the center of country. I made one 50 seconds story. 500 young adults came together. We have a guitar, speakers, and we just praying maybe 1.5 hours. No one from the police officers came and said, hey, go home. Nobody. If you're praying about soldiers, if you preach the gospel, no one can stop you. It's the freedom in Ukraine. And we have this before the war started. Because, for example, if we talk about my city, Melitopol, we have 150,000 people living. It's not a big city, a little bit smaller than, for example, the Springfield. And we have 11 Orthodox churches and 44 evangelical churches. Even our logo of our city has open Bible with Protestant cross in the center, not Orthodox or Protestant cross. And we always be there. I mean, the same situation was before war started. We have this big freedom. I understand these kind of conservative that we have a problem with Orthodox Moscow church because they're working with KGB. I have a lot of stories that they're preparing your guns before Russian troops came, and that's why we're trying. It's about against us. It's about our country, and yeah, we have to do something. It's like sometimes like terrorists inside of the country. We have to. But another thing, President Zelensky. I have a last post on my Instagram that President Zelensky recorded that I want to say thousands of thank you to every chaplain who is working. Not about denominations. No, every chaplain. We have this new wave of evangelical Christians that works. I'm chaplain and I see how many we preach the gospel. And I want to say big thank you to every American chaplain because on today, we already spread, because of Americans, spread 50,000 audio Bibles with MP3 players at the front line directly to the soldiers. On Ukrainian language, but America support this. 50,000, our government a couple of months ago opened the new museum of chaplains. You can come and see different uniforms, like Pentecostal uniform, Baptist uniform of chaplains, and audio Bible is like in some of the packets in that museum. This is kind of a thing that we have so many freedom to preach the gospel. Nobody stops this, government is open. And we have big relationships with our mayors and with our government, really.
Okay, thank you for bringing that perspective. And I want to kind of keep building on that because I grew up in Ukraine, and it was a country of communism and atheism, but still the official church was Orthodox Church. So what happened then, there is no persecution of Christians in Ukraine, but there is movement to oust Russian Orthodox Church because they worked as the agents for Putin. Because what happened then, Putin uses Orthodox Church in Russia to rule the people. Because he says that it's the only true church, and evangelical churches in Russia are persecuted. And tell me, under Russian occupation, how many churches were destroyed, evangelical churches in Ukraine?
On today we have 25 pastors, evangelical pastors. They've been killed. Most of them, not just because they're destroying or bombing this. Most of them because they were pastors, evangelical pastors, not Ukrainians like patriots. And we have already 600 church buildings or destroyed or stolen like mine. I mean, they're using
taken
for
over.
Yeah, so taken over. Yeah.
Thank you for that perspective. Here's what I want to say. When it comes to Connect Church, before the war and right now, our heart is for the church of Jesus Christ, because we believe we can only do so much good with humanitarian assistance, with helping people, but until we bring them hope in Jesus Christ, all of that will not help them eternally.
Yeah.
So that's why we're partnering with leadership and churches in Ukraine. We want to bring salvation and bread. So
Yeah.
I'd say when it comes to salvation and message of the gospel, what we're doing as a church, we're mostly helping local churches to equip them and to help them to spread the message of Jesus. But when you just come in with the message of Jesus in a house where there are hungry people, you got to bring food. And I'm grateful for Convoy of Hope. They're doing a lot of good in Ukraine.
So many
and
jobs,
I'm so glad we could be a part of that, providing logistical support, providing assistance, and connecting with the right people, reliable, honest people to spread the gospel and help people in Ukraine. Thank you, Mark, for taking the time. I know how busy
Pastor.
you've been from Washington, D.C., and now you'll be going to the West Coast. May God bless you. We're praying for you. We're
Thank you
praying
very
for
much.
your
Thank you,
family.
Pastor.
And I know Ukraine is not done yet, because as of today, it's been like the center of Christianity, of evangelical Christianity in Europe.
In Europe, we're a
And it's-
stronghold of Christianity.
Yes,
yeah.
and we'll continue, pray that it will remain that, even
Amen,
stronger now.
Yeah,
That God will
yeah.
use that.
Thank you, Pastor. Thank you.
And thank you, Connect, again, for supporting Ukraine. I know you support Ukraine because of me, and I'm grateful. And I know God will do many things, and we will have opportunity to go there again and preach the
Amen,
gospel
amen.
and see many people saved. Follow Mark on social media, Mark Sergeev, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then for more information, because he does a lot of good.